Welcome to the bonus episode of Seoul Searching, Seoul Food. This vlog will be all about everything I ate whilst in Seoul, so grab a drink and a snack because this video will definitely make you hungry. On day one, we went straight to the convenience store and bought a probiotic yogurt drink to acclimatise our stomach to Korean food. We also got a drink. I went for the mango tango water, a strawberry milk, as well as corn crisps and a strawberry cream bun, which are actually going viral at the minute. They also have lots of different flavours such as vanilla, chocolate, matcha, red velvet, amongst many others. Evening we ordered a wide spread of chicken, including soy and garlic, a spicy chicken that I did not eat because I do not do spicy food, some little cheese balls with Pringle seasoning on, and some fries. On day two, we went to a food court and I got an almond croissant, although there were loads of strawberry cakes that looked really good. We then went to Hong Kong 0410 for lunch and I got a jjajangmyeon. We got some dumplings and some sweet and sour pork, which were insane. That afternoon we went to Myeongdong Market and I got a bungeoppang, which is essentially a puff pastry filled with Nutella. On day two, we went to Kyoja and got the best noodles and dumplings. We then went through Myeongdong Market again and got a whole bunch of things, including sotok, garlic bread, shrimp, kimbap, lots and lots of different things. And then we also got a tanghulu and I got another bungeoppang because it was so good the first time. On day three, we did a DMZ tour and I had the best bibimbap that I had during my whole Korea trip. I would literally go back just for this bibimbap. Later that evening, we went to Gwangjang Market where we had these insane twisted donuts which are covered in sugar and cinnamon. This lady was really famous and the queue wrapped around the corner. It was that busy, but they were so good. I would highly recommend. We also had tteokbokki, which is a spicy rice cake, and some dumplings, followed by hot dog, which is a pastry. I personally had it filled with coconut and it was so good, but the traditional version is filled with some sugar and cinnamon. Following day, we went to a cafe called Layered Cafe, which specialises in scones. I got a cream-filled scone and a coconut scone, which was a little dry, but nice with the cream from my first scone. We tried some sesame seed ice cream, which was really good, but I do think the flavour could have been a little bit more intense. And for dinner, we returned to Hong Kong 0410 because it was that good the first time round. We then headed down to Busan for the weekend and stopped off by Paris Baguette to get some more twisted donuts and an olive and cheese bagel. We had our first barbecue experience, which was very good. However, I don't think I've ever eaten this much meat in one sitting. We did a Busan tour on the Saturday and had some seafood and bulgogi meat for lunch, followed by some salt breads from this very famous shop, and I must say, I completely understand the hype. These salt breads were incredibly soft with a very crispy bottom from where the butter had melted. I would highly recommend trying if you are in Seoul or Busan. For dinner, we ordered some more Korean barbecue and this time was much better than the last. The next morning we went back to Paris Baguette and I got more twisted donuts and this time a plain bagel. For dinner I had hot pot and skewers for the first time. Although I enjoyed my meal, I don't think you'll catch me having hot pot anytime soon. To finish off the day we had Baskin-Robbins ice cream. I went for pistachio and almond and New York cheesecake. For our journey back to Seoul I had to get yet another bagel from Paris Baguette. I had a solo dinner date at a restaurant called Mok Myok Sanbang where I had bibimbap and a cheese and kimchi pancake. I don't think I'd have the pancake again. It wasn't bad, but just not for me. The following day we did a cooking class where we went through a market and we got, of course, some twisted donuts. At our cooking class we made bibimbap, dak galbi, hamil pajon and dongjang jjigae. I would highly recommend doing cooking classes when you go travelling, as it is a great way to learn about traditional dishes and how to make authentic food. The following day we went to Lotte World, so of course we had to go to Lotteria, which is their burger chain, and it was a pretty good burger, very standard. Dinner we went back to Kyoja and had their amazing dumpling and noodles once again. The following day I had a solo brunch date where I went to Grain Seoul, which is a boiled your own breakfast, and it was so good. For my last dinner of the trip, we went to an omakase, which was steak based. It was a 11-course dinner. We got to see a few fire shows as well, which was very exciting. The food was very, very good. Even as someone that doesn't typically enjoy steak, I did think it was very nice. However, I would have liked it to be cooked maybe a little bit more. I didn't realise that I could have asked for my meat to be cooked a bit longer until the very end. But all in all, I loved the experience. Out of everything we ate, the beef belly, which is called upjin, the Korean beef meat pie, and the sirloin steak were my favourite dishes. I hope you have enjoyed this recap of everything I ate during my trip to Seoul. Now on to what I've been doing this week. Good afternoon, everyone. It is Sunday and I am at work, as you can see. I'm going to recap my last 2 shifts because I actually haven't talked to you. On Thursday, I was on the antenatal ward and I had a good day, quite a few long stays, so trying to get their medication right or extra monitoring for baby. And it was quite a steady night. It was quite nice. I only had 2 inductions who ended up both going to labour ward. So that was really nice. And then on Friday, I was looking after the same people. So I had 2 new inductions that came in. And once again, they both ended up going to labour ward as well. So 2 quite nice nights. Usually on my last night, I go to bed until 2 o'clock. Then I am up for the rest of the day. However, I snoozed my alarm, which is good because I had a backup alarm at 2:30. Snoozed that alarm and was thinking, oh, I'll probably only sleep till 3. Woke up and it was 5 p.m. So that was definitely not fun because it meant that I had to scramble to edit the vlog, which is being uploaded late because I keep forgetting that it won't upload if I'm at work. For some reason, it doesn't like the hospital air, so it will be late and that will be a thing in itself. And I ended up going to bed really late. I think I went to bed at 11, whereas I usually go to bed at 10. So really late for me, probably a very normal time for the rest of the population. But we came in this morning and I've been doing baby examinations and I only had 5 to do today, which is surprising. Usually, as you may or may not have seen, I'll have like maybe 16 to do in a day compared to 5, which is literally nothing. And both wards are very chill, so I even went out and asked if anyone needed help, but everyone's like, no, I've got 3 patients or I've got 4. I'm like, okay. To be fair, on the postnatal ward, now that they've discharged quite a few people, I think there's like 1 to 2 people per 6-bedded bay, which is insane. So they basically have a whole room to themselves, which is really nice. Whilst I've got you here, I'm gonna do my media recap, starting off with TV shows and films. I watched Louis Theroux's Inside the Manosphere and I was right, it was a very frustrating watch because how are these people thinking like this? But it's also kind of embarrassing. Like, imagine that's your son. I'd be so embarrassed for him to go out on the internet speaking like that. Yeah, it was an interesting watch. It is quite funny that now, I don't know what his I think it's HS Tiki Toki, the guy that's called Harrison. Loads of AI videos are being made about him like in fake nails with like a really strong Essex accent in like a little tube top walking around, and he's getting so triggered by it. So that's very satisfying on my end. But yeah, it was interesting. I'd probably give it maybe like a 3.5. It wasn't the best Louis Theroux documentary I've seen, and I have seen pretty much all of them. Next up, I watched a documentary called Dynasty and the Murdochs, which is something that I had just seen, and I was like, you know what, why not? I had no clue who they are. Found out that they are one of the biggest, or the biggest family in media, and they control quite a lot of British newspapers. So the whole documentary talks about Rupert, which is the dad in this situation. He is the CEO of this dynasty, and it talks about when he eventually passes away, who gets to take his role, who gets to be his successor. And it goes through the four children, well, the four main children, their lives, what they were doing, how they were kind of like one-upping each other. Maybe they're going to get it, maybe someone else is going to get it. And it also talks about Rupert's marriages as well, and how 2 more children get added to the group. So yeah, I found it really interesting, especially because I had no clue what it was going to be about. So I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a very interesting documentary to watch, so I would recommend it, and I'm going to give it a 3.75 out of 5. Reality check inside America's Next Top Model, which goes over the program, and it's kind of a jump between watching some of the episodes and the interviews of the people that were in it. So obviously Tyra Banks plays a big role, so she talks about it a lot, and we get some of the contenders in it. I never watched America's Next Top Model, so I'm obviously seeing it through a 2026 lens. However, I do understand why at the time it was so popping and everyone was watching it, everyone was loving it. I do understand that. Obviously, with hindsight, you see things that happen definitely should not have happened, and there are quite a few trigger warnings in there. It's interesting to what point the producers didn't think things were an issue and how dangerous things were as well. I think it was definitely an interesting documentary, and I did enjoy watching it, even though some parts were quite hard to watch. I think it's quite short, it's 3 or 4 episodes, and yeah, I would give it a 4 out of 5. Next is a series that I have been watching for a while, The Secret Life of Mormon Wives. Oh my god, I love me some trashy reality TV, which is exactly what this is. So this is based on a Mormon wife TikTok group called Mum Talk, and it basically talks about their lives. Essentially, it started out as a swinging scandal between a few of the couples, and lots of people got dragged into it that weren't actually a part of it, and since then they've just continued filming. So we're now on season 4. I didn't realise season 3 came out in November, so I'm actually caught up on season 3 now, and I've just started season 4, and yeah, it's just very trashy reality TV. They don't really talk much about Mormonism, or if they do talk about it, it's very minimal. Lots and lots of drama, so what is there not to love, if I'm honest? I obviously haven't finished this season yet, so I will give you a update next week. Things coming up for next week, actually. We have Run BTS is coming back, which is so exciting. Honestly, I can't wait to watch those episodes. Bloodhounds has come out on Friday, so I'm hoping to watch an episode this week. Well, today when I get home, or next week, so hopefully you'll be able to get an update on that. Zendaya's film The Drama is out, which is very exciting. It looks really good. It's about a couple just before their wedding and like getting their preparations and stuff, so I'm very excited about that one. Moving on to music, this week I have been listening to, of course, Arrang by BTS, as well as kind of whatever songs come afterwards, or the This Is BTS playlist, because I'm getting back into that world. Of course, Monica is not leaving our side just yet. She is still being played as I go to work. I have also been listening to Backpack by Seb. Still thoroughly enjoying that one. Of course, listening to my liked songs as well. That concludes my media recap for the week. I hope you have enjoyed. I also hope you have enjoyed this week's vlog, and I will see you next week. See ya!